My beloved child, there are moments in life when the sky seems strangely silent. No signs, no confirmations, just a lingering emptiness, as though your prayers have dissolved into the air. But I want you to know this: my silence is not my absence. It is a sacred pause, a holy stillness, where I am paving the way for something far greater than what you've asked for. You wonder if I haven't heard you? No. My child, every silent tear, every weary breath you cannot put into words, I have seen. Every dream you thought had faded, every unspoken longing, I have kept them all. I have not forgotten a single prayer. It's just that you cannot yet see what I am doing in the shadows. I am the one who works beyond your understanding. I am not bound by human time. You may think things are delayed, but I see every step you take. It is in the waiting that your faith is being refined. Just as gold must go through fire to be purified, so is your soul being shaped through each moment that seems silent. Do not lose heart, for my silence is not a rejection. It is the beginning of something profound. Remember Joseph. He was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, then abandoned in prison. Can you imagine it? The one who carried divine dreams had to endure trials that looked like the opposite of those promises. But I never forgot him. Not a single day in that darkness was outside my plan. And in my appointed time, I lifted him from prisoner to ruler of a nation. You see, destiny is woven in silence. I have never been in a hurry. I have never been late. What I begin, I will bring to completion. And I say this to you again today: I will not leave unfinished what I have started in your life. Think of Moses. Before he led my people out of Egypt, he spent 40 years in the wilderness, 40 years of silence, 40 years where youthful dreams seemed to decay. But in that very wilderness, I was preparing him. For souls chosen for great things must walk through refining fire. And I'm doing the same with you. You ask me, why is it taking so long? Lord, I answer, because I love you. True love does not give what is not yet ready. I will not hand you something you are not yet equipped to sustain. So I wait to shape you, to deepen your spirit, to broaden your heart. You are being prepared for a new season, a season where the supernatural will not merely be heard of, but personally encountered. My child, be attentive to the small things in the present. I am still speaking to you, not through thunder or burning fire, but often through a gentle breath, a stirring within, a passing word from a stranger. That is me. I do not always come in the way you expect, but I always come, just as I appeared to Elijah, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in a gentle whisper. So too am I drawing near to you with tenderness. Therefore, do not despise simplicity, for it is within what seems ordinary that I will birth the extraordinary. My precious one, it is time for you to pause. Lift your head and recognize that I am still here. Waiting is not wasted time. It is the loom upon which I weave a grander tapestry you cannot yet see. Just as a child in the womb needs time to develop, so too does the promise I've planted in you require time to grow. You are not forgotten. You are being nurtured. Every passing day, every seemingly uneventful moment, is the soil breaking to allow the seed to sprout. And in its season, it will bloom. Prepare your heart, for I am about to do something in your life that has never been done before, not because you have earned it, but because I am faithful, not because you are strong enough, but because I am your strength. What I do will not match your expectations. It will exceed them. Open your heart. Child, let me awaken what lies dormant within you. Let me prove to you, my silence is not indifference, but the quiet forming of a promise I will fulfill completely. There are times, beloved, when I lead you through paths where light seems absent. It is not because I wish to burden you, but because I am teaching you something the eyes cannot see, to live by faith, not by feelings or circumstances. I know how deeply you long for a clear sign, an immediate answer, a heavenly confirmation. But true faith does not rest on what is seen. It rests on trust in the one who never changes me. Remember Abraham, whom I called to leave his homeland for a destination unknown. He walked without knowing where, carrying only my promise. It was not an easy journey, but he obeyed. And because he trusted me, I called him my friend. In the same way, I am calling you not into a predictable path, but into a journey where only holding tightly to me will carry you forward. Perhaps you now stand at a crossroads, with choices intertwining and no clear direction. You cry out, yet the heavens seem silent. You wait, yet no door opens. My child, it is in these very moments that I am weighing your heart, not to punish, but to prepare you for more. Faith is only proven genuine when it stands in the dark. I do not ask you to understand everything. I only ask you to choose to trust me. Trust, as Joshua did, when I told him to circle Jericho for 7 days without raising a sword. 2 men. It seemed absurd, but because he believed, because he obeyed without needing an explanation, the walls fell at the sound of praise, not by might, not by strategy, but by my power flowing through obedience. Do not wait for a miracle before you believe. Believe, and the miracle will come. I do not require proof to act, I require surrender. 1 tearful yes, 1 trembling step amid doubt, when placed rightly, can move heaven. Just as Mary, upon hearing the angel's message, answered, I am the Lord's servant. Let it be to me according to your word. It was her surrender that opened the door for my incarnation on earth. Do not think you must be strong to walk forward. I do not seek your own strength. I only ask you to place your weakness in my hands. For it is in your helplessness that my power is made perfect. Peter toiled all night and caught nothing until my son said, Cast the net on the other side. Though exhausted, he obeyed, and the net was so full it nearly tore. That miracle did not come in ideal conditions, it came in weariness. The key was not the situation, but the heart's response. Do you know why many never experience miracles? Not because I am unwilling, but because they wait for feelings, not faith. They want certainty before they move, results before they risk. But miracles are not born on the path of guarantees. They are born from trust, even when everything says impossible. Remember Paul and Silas chained in a dungeon for preaching my name. Instead of despair, they prayed and sang praises at midnight. It was that song that shook the prison, opened the doors, and broke the chains. The miracle didn't wait for their freedom. It came in the prison, because they chose to believe me in their darkest hour. My dear one, if you are weary from walking without clear direction, lift your eyes. You are not walking alone. I am holding your hand, though you may not always feel me. I have never taken a step away from you. The days when you feel weakest, are the very days I carry you in my arms. My silence does not mean absence. It is when I invite you to trust my presence beyond your emotions. I know the nights you toss and turn, the mornings you rise with a heavy heart. I know how much you've prayed, how deeply you've hoped, and how little seems to change. But do not be discouraged. The seed of faith must be nurtured in hiddenness before it blooms. It is when you see nothing happening that I am working most deeply within you. I began this journey with you, and I will not abandon it halfway. What I have spoken, I will bring to pass. What I have sown in your heart, I will cause to bear fruit. Not a single word from my mouth will return void. So keep walking, even if it's a small step, even if it's a whispered prayer, even if it's just a sigh laid at my feet. I see, I hear, and I respond not always in the way you expect, but always in the way that is best. And when you choose to obey, you make room for my power to move completely. My beloved child, it is time for you to understand that the great things I am about to do not always arrive with thunder or spectacle. Often, the extraordinary begins in what seems the smallest, a quiet conversation, a fleeting dream, a subtle stirring in the heart. My child, do not despise the simple things, for I, who used the staff in Moses' hand to part the sea, a small stone of David to bring down a giant, and 5 loaves with 2 fish to feed a multitude, I do not require something grand to work miracles. I only ask that you are willing to give me what you already have. You are asking for a sign from heaven, but if your eyes are fixed only on the supernatural, you may miss what is real and near. Sometimes what you call coincidence is actually my arrangement. A door opening at an unexpected moment, an encounter that seems accidental, a small opportunity you nearly overlooked. These may all be the first heartbeat of a miracle taking form. I say to you today, open your eyes, listen closely, soften your heart, for I am speaking not in thunder, but in breath, not in fire, but in gentle light, not to frighten you, but to lead you into my design. Do you remember the widow in Zarephath? She had only a little flour and a bit of oil left, preparing a final meal for herself and her son. In that desperate moment, I sent Elijah, and through my word, she was invited to give up the little she had. It was not a test, it was an invitation, and she obeyed not out of abundance, but out of trust. As a result, the jar of flour did not run dry, and the jug of oil did not empty throughout the famine. My child, when you feel you have nothing in your hands, I see you holding the key to a miracle. I do not ask how much you have. I ask only, are you willing to give what you do have? If you give me your last drop of water, I will turn it into a spring. If you place in my hands the smallest seed of faith, I will make it a gate to heavenly treasure. I do not require much, only your whole heart. When your faith is placed in me, you will see the impossible become possible. Like the woman who had bled for 12 years, who needed only to touch the hem of my son's robe in faith, and instantly the bleeding stopped. No invitation, no elaborate ritual, just one touch. But it was the touch of belief, and it moved heaven's power. My child, be careful how you interpret the events of your life. What you call failure may be my redirection. What you see as loss may be the clearing of the old path, so something new can begin. I do not always allow you to hold on to what you love. Sometimes I must take it away. that your hands may be empty, ready to receive the better gift you could not yet imagine. But know this, I never take away without giving something greater in return. You may be walking through a desert now, asking, is this all there is? Lord, was that dream just an illusion? Then remember my people in the wilderness. They thought they would die of thirst, but I brought water from the rock. They feared they would starve, but I sent down bread from heaven, day by day, every morning. They had to go out and gather manna. They could not store it for the next day. I did not do this out of lack, but to teach them to trust me daily. In the same way, I am teaching you. I do not give everything at once, because I want you to walk step by step with me. Each day, you will have enough grace to live. Each night, enough peace to rest. And when you look back, you will see there was not one day I left you alone. This is not a time to be discouraged. It is a time to prepare. For what I am doing in secret will soon be revealed in the open. What you have prayed in private will soon be answered before others. Before I do something great through you, I want to do something deep within you. No glory from heaven is revealed without first passing through a surrendered soul. Remember Mary, the young girl I chose to carry my son. She had no fame, no position, no preparation by worldly standards. But she had one thing heaven seeks, a heart that said, yes. And that yes opened a new chapter for all of humanity. Today, I am searching for a heart like that in you. Not someone who knows everything, not someone full of experience, but someone who is willing to say, Lord, I don't understand it all, but I am willing. And if you say this, then miracles will no longer be distant stories of Scripture. They will become the living breath of your own life. You have waited long enough. Now is the time to prepare, for the beginning has come. The miracle is no longer a far-off promise. It is approaching gently, humbly, but with great power, and you will see that what began in silence will end in glory. My beloved one, everything under heaven has its appointed season. No season arrives early, and none is late when I am the Lord of time. To you, time may seem to pass slowly and silently. You count the days, the months, the years, and still the promise is unfulfilled, the dream unfinished, your heart aching with unanswered questions. But I say to you today, the time has come. The season you once only heard about will now become your reality. I know you have asked me in tears, Lord, when? And when no answer came, you wondered if you were wrong, or if I had changed my mind. But I do not change. What I have promised, I will fulfill. My word does not fall to the ground in vain. Even if the soil is dry, even if the winds are strong, the seed I have sown will bear fruit in its season. Do not let delay blur the vision of your faith. I have not forgotten the whispers you made in the night. I did not ignore the times you chose obedience even when the path was dark. Some things I delay not because you are unready, but because the stage is not yet set. I am not only preparing you, I am aligning circumstances, shifting hearts, and moving unseen pieces into place, all to converge at the appointed moment. Think of Joseph. While he was still in prison, he had no idea that in just one more night he would stand before a throne. But I had seen that day long before. While he washed the warden's garments, while he remained faithful in the place, no one applauded. I was preparing the crown for him, and when my time came, no chain could hold him back. So it will be for you. One day of mine can transform your whole life. Perhaps you've grown so used to the rhythm of endurance that you've stopped daring to hope for something greater. But I say to you, lift your head, for the rescue you have sought is drawing near. I do not only wish to heal your wounds, I long to restore you completely. I do not only want to wipe your tears, I want to turn them into rivers that bring life to others. What you have endured will not be wasted. It will become testimony. It will become oil poured out upon others who fall as you once did. Do not let weariness close your heart. Do not let the times you thought you failed rob you of hope. I am the one who raises the dead, who calls things that are not as though they were. If I brought Lazarus back after 4 days in the tomb, then nothing in your life lies beyond my power. No dream is too late, no door too locked, no situation too tangled for me to redeem. I specialize in making a way where there is none. You ask me, how will I know the time has come? And I say, when everything inside you begins to stir, when what once felt comfortable now feels confining, when habits once called peace become burdens, when deep within you hunger for something new even if you cannot yet name it. That is the sign that I am moving. For before I change your surroundings, I often awaken your spirit. You may feel uneasy, like a child in the womb nudged by the call of birth, not because of danger, but because the time has come. I am pressing you out of the old not to judge you, but to bring you into the promise. Like an eagle pushing its young from the nest so they learn to fly, I too will remove the comfort of familiar places to lift you to new heights. You were not created to dwell forever in the shadows. You were born to soar in the sky of grace. Do not cling to what I am removing. Do not mourn the doors I have closed. What I take, I will replace with something better. What I ask you to lay down, I will place in your heart anew by my own hand. But you must have empty hands to receive, an open heart to be filled. My child, do not fear when everything begins to shift. I am shaking the old foundation to build what will endure. Your quiet days are drawing to an end. The season of blooming is near, and you will not only witness the miracle, you will live within it. My child, let me remind you, when I move, not every act comes with the sound of a trumpet. Not every glory is accompanied by blinding light. Not every miracle flashes like lightning across a stormy sky. Often, the supernatural slips quietly into your life like the morning dew upon the grass. What seems ordinary may carry the breath of the extraordinary. I once revealed myself through a burning bush that was not consumed, speaking to Moses in the wilderness. I once stepped into the life of an obscure girl in Nazareth to conceive a plan for redeeming mankind. I once used a Samaritan woman despised by her people to proclaim the good news to an entire town. Do you see? My presence is not confined to grand displays. I do not need fanfare to fulfill my will. What I seek are hearts ready to recognize me, even when I come in the simplest of forms. So, my child, do not overlook the small things you consider insignificant. A phone call that seems random, a long-lost friend who reappears, a door that cracks open at work, a quiet stirring in your heart, nudging you toward something. I am speaking not with noise, but with gentle, deliberate motion. Only those with listening ears will hear. Only those with softened hearts will respond. Reflect on Elijah's story as he fled into the wilderness. Feeling alone and defeated, he sought me in the fire, in the earthquake, in the storm, but I was not in the noise. I came in a still, small whisper, And in that whisper, Elijah knew I was there, still watching over him, still leading him forward on the unfinished path. My child, when nothing seems to move, that is often when I am orchestrating everything in perfect order. A farmer who plants seeds does not stand over the field watching for every sprout, but he knows the seed is in the soil, and in due time, it will break through. In the same way, my promise in your life has not died. It is merely hidden beneath the soil of time, awaiting its appointed moment to bloom. If the door has not opened yet, do not pound on the wrong one. If you haven't heard an answer, don't rush to other voices. I will not let you go astray. As long as you keep seeking me, I am still speaking, still working, still preparing. But you must learn to listen not with ears of flesh, but with a soul attuned to my presence. Never forget, a miracle is not always a change in your outer world. Sometimes the greatest miracle is the transformation within you. When you finally release the bitterness you've held for years, when you forgive the one who broke you, when you rise after failure not by your strength, but by my grace, when your voice returns after sorrow had silenced it, when you pray again after months of silence, these are miracles. The heavens rejoice over quiet, yet profound. Do you know why I don't always move with noise? Because I value true growth over fleeting excitement. I want your roots to go deep before your branches reach high. I don't want you swayed by emotional highs and lows, but walking steadily, not just when miracles happen, but even when you see nothing. For true faith is what remains standing when feelings fade. So remember this: if every day you still hunger for me, if you still whisper prayers, if you still say, though I cannot see, you still believe, then the miracle has already begun. Because the most wondrous thing is not a mountain moved, but a heart unshaken. I will work in you before I work through you. I will heal your soul before I heal your circumstance. For if your inner being is whole, no outward trial can defeat you. My child, do not be afraid if I move slower than you hoped. Do not be discouraged if what I give looks different from what you imagined. My wisdom is not like human wisdom. When you expect a wide road, I may lead you through a narrow path. When you seek recognition, I may offer you hiddenness. But it is all preparation for a fruitful season. Just as John the Baptist grew up in the wilderness until the day of his unveiling to Israel, you too are being shaped in silence, prepared for your appointed time. And when that time comes, you will not need to seize your place. I will make the way. What I open, no one can shut. What I touch, no force can hinder. So, my child, stay awake. Let your heart be steeped in my presence. Learn to see miracles not only in thunder, but also in a gentle breeze. Not only in wide open doors, but even in the ones that close. Not only in the spectacular, but also in the mundane. For I, who formed the universe with a word, am drawing near to you not with chariots thundering, but with quiet footsteps upon the soil of your soul. The time has come for you to realize I am not just working around you, I am inviting you to partner in heaven's design. You are not merely a spectator of wonders, but a living witness of my faithfulness. The miracle you long for is not to decorate your life, but to place you into the role of one who bears my glory to the world. Many of my children pray to see heaven's intervention, but few are willing to become instruments in my hand. But you are different, aren't you? I have seen in you a heart not only longing to be rescued, but longing to be offered. And that longing draws me close. For I do not seek the strong, but the soft-hearted. It is not those with great ability who do great things. It is those who surrender fully whom I can use. My child, the heavens are open. But I ask you, are you ready to enter? Not just to receive, but to carry responsibility. For every miracle comes with a calling. Like the man healed by the pool of Bethesda, I did not just say, "Rise," but also, "Take up your mat and walk." That means, don't live as you once did. Don't lie waiting for pity. Don't blame others. Carry what once bound you, and let it testify to my power. Remember when I called Jeremiah, he said, "Ah, Lord, I am only a child." But I answered, "Do not say you are only a child. I will put my words in your mouth. You will uproot and tear down, build and plant." In the same way, you often look at yourself and feel lacking faith, knowledge, strength. But I did not choose you because you are enough. I chose you so I could be your enough. Never forget, obedience is all you need. Every time you say yes, even trembling, I will open another level of heaven to you. Every nod to what I place in your heart, even if you don't know where it leads, will reveal the next step. The journey of faith is not fully laid out. It is discovered day by day, in each small act of obedience. Don't believe you're too small to make a difference. Remember Gideon? He called himself the least in the weakest clan. But when I called him, I didn't say weakling. I said, mighty warrior. I called him not based on who he was, but on the potential I had planted in him. And with just 300 men, he led a victorious army, not through cleverness, but through obedience. You too, if you follow my word, will see the impossible become possible. My child, if your heart now feels both trembling and stirred, that is a good sign. Great things often begin with holy fear. You don't need all the answers to move forward. You only need to walk with the one who is the answer. When I sent Abraham, he did not know the destination, but each step he took was an act of trust, and I counted every one. Now I place in your hands something new. It is unlike what you've known, not as safe as you're used to, but not as heavy as you fear. For when I call, I also go with you. When I send, I also provide. When I open the way, I also uphold you. I will never lead you where my grace cannot cover you. You will not be alone. You ask me, Lord, if I step out, what will happen? I say, it will not be what you imagined, but it will be good. It will be timely, and it will glorify my name. I do not promise you a life without hardship, but I promise that every trial will become a testimony of my faithfulness. You will not be swallowed by the waves, you will walk upon them. As Peter did when he fixed his eyes on my Son. So prepare your heart. Remove from it what weighs you down: fear, regret, doubt. Make room for the new thing I am beginning. Let go of the belief that miracles are only for personal comfort. The true miracle is the doorway into mission, the calling to become one I use to lift, to heal, to bring light to those walking through the night. My beloved child, when I begin to move, the first thing I change is not your circumstances, but your perspective. For if your mind remains confined by the limitations of the flesh, even if the gates of heaven were opened before you, you would not perceive them. You expect a miracle to strike like lightning in the night. But I often arrive like the dawn, gentle, persistent, and sure. Have you ever thought that what I am about to do in your life must be dazzling, impressive, or emotionally overwhelming? But oh, my child, I delight in the hidden things. Great works are often born in silence, like a seed breaking open quietly in the dark soil, like a child forming in the womb, unseen, like my only son born in a manger, not a palace. What seems humble in the eyes of man often carries the most glorious plans of heaven. So, when nothing appears to change, do not assume I am silent. When you hear no thunder, do not believe I am not speaking. I am working in the foundations where human eyes cannot see. I am healing parts of you that you have not even realized were wounded. I am reshaping your thoughts, replacing fear with courage, doubt with deeply rooted faith in my word. My child, remember, your eyes can easily be deceived. What you call failure may be the door into a promised land. What you call delay may be my protection. Many times, I do not give you what you ask for, not because I deny you, but because I am reserving you for something better. I see the full picture, while you only glimpse a small corner. And in the depths of my love, I will never place into your hands what you are not yet ready to hold. Think back to when my people demanded a king like the other nations. Though I knew the consequences, I allowed it, so they could learn the value of obedience through experience. And then, I chose David, a shepherd boy, to be king, according to my heart. In this, both my permission and my intervention serve to teach, correct, and restore. Do not fear that your mistakes will ruin my plans. I am powerful enough to turn what seems broken into a foundation for the new Problictote. Now, look at your life were not the moments you drew closest to me, the very ones where you seemed to lose everything. Was it not at your lowest point that you discovered my grace to be the firmest ground beneath your feet? I do not take pleasure in your pain, but I use it to awaken what lies dormant in you. Callings, visions, the dreams buried under the dust of time will be awakened again. In my perfect timing. Remember, I am the one who not only heals but restores, not just patching what is torn, but rebuilding the entire masterpiece, not merely pulling you out of the darkness, but bringing you into fullness of light. Therefore, what I am doing in you is not temporary. It is lasting, deep, and will leave a spiritual mark not just on your life, but on those whom your life will touch. I know there are times you ask yourself, was I truly chosen? You look around and see others advancing, more gifted, more recognized, but you do not see what I am storing within you. Like oil steeped in a jar before being poured out, you too are being filled in secret. When my time comes, I will pour you out into the right place, to the right people, at the right moment. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's. Each person I create walks a unique path, has a distinct role in my vineyard. Another may have started earlier, but you will be used in a way no one else can replace. Stay faithful in what I've assigned to you. Be steadfast in the place you now stand. For today's small faithfulness becomes the foundation for tomorrow's great miracle. My precious one, do not be afraid when you feel nothing. Sometimes, silence is the sign that I am laying a firm foundation. Like a builder setting deep roots, No one sees the work because it is beneath the surface. But the higher the building, the deeper the base must be. And I have chosen you for a sturdy structure. So do not be surprised if I spend much time digging deep. Just like the craftsmen who built the temple, they labored for years without seeing the final form. But one day, every piece fit together, and glory was revealed. Your life is the same. Every prayer, every act of quiet love, every decision to reject compromise, I am gathering them all. Do not measure the result by a single season. True fruit is seen through enduring faithfulness. Therefore, take heart. Even when you do not see, believe. Even when you do not feel, walk. For I am at work, not in the way you expect, but in the way I know is best. And when it all comes to pass, you will look back and say, it was worth the wait. End quote. Child, when I begin to move in your life, there will be things that happen which you never prayed for and never dared to imagine. Not because you forgot them, but because your heart grew used to old patterns, to limits shaped by time, failure, and wounds. But I am not confined by your memories, nor by the limits you have placed on yourself. You thought I could only move through familiar channels, a specific relationship, a known job, a door you believed was the only one. But I do not follow human patterns. I am the one who made water gush from a rock, who fed my people with bread from heaven, who turned wilderness into abundance. What seems impossible to man becomes radiant miracle in my hands. So, when I begin to open a way, do not be confused if it looks nothing like what you expected. Do not fear if I lead you where you've never been. You may feel uncertain or even anxious, but I will not abandon you. My hand will guide you step by step, not to exhaust you with tests, but to reveal my glory in the very places you thought were insignificant. Remember my people at the Red Sea. Ahead was the vast sea. Behind them, an army, no clear way out. Yet in that very moment of despair, I parted the sea and made a path through the depths. None of them had imagined such a thing. No one dared to pray for something so extreme. But I, the Creator, made a way where there was no way. Dear one, if you are facing what seems like a dead end, though not lose heart. The Red Sea in your life is not the end. It is the place where I will prove that my presence is mightier than any enemy. Right where you feel backed into a corner, where all natural options have closed. That is where I step in and do what no one has ever seen. Do not judge reality by what your eyes see. I am not bound by circumstance, nor restricted by earthly logic. You may see a wall, I see a gateway. You may see a dead dream, I see a seed ready to sprout. You may see drought, I see land being cleansed to welcome a fresh spring. My child, there are things you've once abandoned or buried, believing they were too late or too broken. But I do not see your past as ashes. I see the potential for restoration. Do you remember when I brought Ezekiel into the valley of dry bones? All that remained were ruins. But I asked him, can these bones live again? And through my word, the bones came together. Flesh formed, and a mighty army rose. So it will be with the parts of your life you thought had died. Under my breath, they will live again. I will not merely revive what was lost. I will make it stronger, deeper, and full of purpose. Broken relationships, unfinished dreams, wasted years. None of it is meaningless when you surrender them to me. Do not limit me with your understanding. Do not confine me to the image shaped by past experiences. What I am about to do will go beyond what you've thought, hoped, or prayed. You may be puzzled at first, just as Sarah laughed when I promised her a child in her old age. But when my word is fulfilled, your doubtful laughter will turn into joy, and you will know I am the God who keeps his promises, even when they surpass your understanding. My child, it is precisely because what I will do is unprecedented that I need your heart to stay soft. If you cling too tightly to the old, you may resist the new. If your heart is bound to form, you may miss the essence. Do not let familiarity limit your spiritual vision. I have not come to maintain what is outdated, but to renew, restore, and lift you to a new level in your walk with me. Still, remember, the new is not always easy to embrace. You will need to let go of what once felt right, to step out of comfort, to trust me when you do not yet understand. But if you obey, you will see my hand guiding every step, every decision, every season. And each step you take will become a testimony that says, "My Lord is alive." Hi, Prula. You may not understand why I have made you wait so long, but when what I promised comes to pass, you will see I was never late. I arrived when everything was ready, and not just you, but all around you will witness it and say, "Truly, this is the work of the Lord." So prepare your heart. What I am about to do will astonish you, not because it is loud, but because it is profound, not because it is great in the world's eyes, but because it strikes deep into your soul, my beloved child. There are miracles that are not hindered by the powers of darkness, nor delayed by the lack of earthly resources, but are held back by the hesitation in your own heart. You may not realize it, but sometimes the only thing stopping the flow of living water is a small door within you that remains closed. As long as you hold something back for yourself, a private plan, a lingering fear, or a backup option, you have not yet stepped fully into the blessing I have prepared for you. I do not desire for you to live reluctantly, but I invite you into surrender, not to lose what is precious, but to find what is eternal. You have prayed for me to act. You have pleaded earnestly for me to intervene. But today, I turn the question to you. Are you truly ready for what you've asked for? Because when the miracle comes, it brings with it an irreversible transformation. You will no longer live the same way, see life the same way, or be the same person you once were. My child, if you want to see my hand move clearly, place your whole heart in my hands first. Hold nothing back. Let not the what-ifs and maybes cloud the calling in your soul. I did not come to negotiate. I came to renew. And renewal cannot happen while the old is still being preserved as a safe zone in your heart. Do you remember when I asked Abraham to offer up Isaac, the very son I had given him? It was not because I wanted to take back the gift I had bestowed. It was because I wanted his heart to belong wholly to me, unbound by anything, not even the most rightful of blessings. And when I saw that he placed me above what he held most dear, I opened for him the heavens, a covenant everlasting, not just for him, but for all his descendants. In the same way, if you dare lay everything on the altar, your dreams, your time, your relationships, your future, I will do beyond what you could imagine, not to take away, but to return it many times over. with the guarantee of heaven, not merely human effort. I have seen your efforts many times. I know you have toiled, tried to do right, tried to believe, tried to walk in light through the dark days. And I treasure that. But, my child, sometimes instead of trying harder, you need to let go. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is surrendering control to me, the one who not only knows the future but holds every lifeline to what is good. When you let go, you become light. When you let go, I can act without being hindered by the walls you've built. Letting go is the moment you admit, Lord, I can't do this on my own. I've tried, but I need you, and I will answer, for I am close to the brokenhearted. I do not despise a contrite and repentant heart. In fact, that is the most fertile ground for me to plant seeds of eternity. My beloved child, do not fear surrender. The world teaches that control is victory, and holding on is survival. But in my kingdom, it is the one who lets go that receives, the one who humbles himself that is lifted up, the one who loses that finds. I do not wish to take your life away. I long to give you life in abundance. But that life is not in what you try to grasp. It lies in open hands. Think of Peter, the rugged fisherman who once denied my son in the courtyard of the high priest. He believed he had failed, that the door to his calling had slammed shut forever. But after the resurrection, I did not merely forgive him, I restored him and gave him a role that no one else could fill: feed my sheep. Not because he had never fallen, but because he had and had been forgiven. Only those who have fallen know how to lift others. In the same way, you do not have to be perfect to be used. You only need to surrender. Do not let your past trap you in the cage of shame. Do not let old mistakes choke the faith you now carry. I do not use you because you are worthy. I use you because I love you, and I have chosen you. So today, I call you. Offer me everything you're holding. Lay down the burdens that do not belong to you. Open your hands to receive what I have prepared, not just to heal you, but to send you. Let your faith not just be a thought, but an act in every step you take. Start with the simple things: a prayer without reservation, a loving act without calculation, an obedience that doesn't ask for assurance, and you will see it is those small steps that will open a great path, not because they are mighty, but because they are done from a heart wholly surrendered. You have asked me, Lord, when will I see a miracle? Today. I answer you, when you offer your whole self, holding nothing back. For what I am looking for is not a beautifully worded prayer, but a soul willing to say, "Here I am, use me." And when that word rises from the depths of your heart, my beloved, the miracle will no longer be delayed. My child, when I act, nothing can stop me. No circumstance is too tangled. No door too fortified. No wall too solid for me to overcome. What you see as obstacles, I see as opportunities. What you call dead ends, I call the beginning of deliverance. You've grown accustomed to seeing your limitations as the end, but I come to prove nothing is over while I am still present. You've stood before doors that slammed shut, knocked and received no answer, placed hope in people only to be disappointed. I know those moments well, because I was there. I saw you draw inward, learning to be careful, to expect less, and little by little, your living faith grew quiet. But today, I say enough. It's time you look to me, not just as the one who comforts you in doubt, but as the one who breaks the chains of that doubt. I am the Lord who breaks barriers not by human strength, but by my breath. Just as I sent a strong wind across the sea and split it in two, creating dry ground for my people to cross, so shall I split what threatens to drown you, so that you may walk upon it unafraid. Unarmed, unshaken. Remember the walls of Jericho, tall, thick, fortified like bronze. My people had no siege weapons, no heavy arms, no numerical or strategic advantage. They had only one thing: obedience. I told them to march around the city, not to fight, not to argue, just walk in silence. And on the appointed day, they shouted as I commanded, and the walls came down. The miracle wasn't in the shout, it was in the surrender. They did what made no sense to man, but perfect sense to me. True faith is not built on logic, but on the spoken word. They didn't need full understanding, only to walk. And the impossible happened. In the same way, you now face your own Jericho immovable situations. Immovable people. Conclusions declared final. But, my child, I am never bound by human verdicts. Words like impossible, hopeless, beyond help hold no ground before a word from me. Perhaps you carry a chronic illness, one that doctors have given up on, where all remedies have failed. Perhaps you are in a frozen marriage, where love feels dead and trust has shattered. Perhaps you've lost your finances. Your career has crumbled. Debt has piled high. Or perhaps, in your spirit, you feel too dry, too lost to return. But my child, let me remind you, nothing is ever too late for me. No body too broken to heal. No family too shattered to restore. No soul too hardened to redeem. I am the one who calls the dead to life. I am the one who said to Lazarus, "Come forth." And he, though 4 days in the tomb, rose again. You're waiting for a word from me, aren't you? A sign, a confirmation. This is that word, my child. I am still here, and I am about to intervene, not to bring temporary rescue, but to transform the very structure of things. When I touch something, it doesn't go back to how it was. It becomes new, purposeful, alive, and full of glory. So prepare your heart. Don't just hope for an outer miracle. Let me begin from within. I want to dismantle the limits you've lived with too long. The limits in your thoughts, your emotions, your view of yourself. I do not call you victim. I call you redeemed. I do not see you as weak, but as a warrior rising after battle. Still, you must choose. Choose to trust me over your feelings. Choose to stand instead of lying in regret. Choose to step out of your safe zone and declare with your mouth, "Lord, I believe you still move." I prayed, my child. When you dare rise in faith, even trembling, heaven will move. Angels await command. The heavens are opening, and the miracle will come not because of merit, but because I love you, not because you are enough, but because my grace is abundant. The door you thought forever shut will open. The relationship you thought was dead will live again. The calling you thought was over will be revived. And the person you once were, I will transform entirely. My beloved child, you no longer need to explain, nor strive to prove anything. I see everything you are going through. I know the worries that weigh on your heart, the unanswered questions, the quiet sighs you release in the darkness of night. Every thought you have is laid bare before me. I am not distant, not indifferent, and not delayed. I have only been waiting for the appointed time to act, and that time has come. When I step into a situation, everything changes, not gradually or partially, but completely. When I speak, storms must be still. When I touch, sickness must retreat. When I draw near, darkness cannot remain. That is my nature. I do not come merely to soothe. I come to reset everything according to my good and perfect will. You may have become so accustomed to waiting that you no longer expect much. You guard your joy. You hesitate to hope, fearing that early celebration might only lead to fresh disappointment. But today I say to you, do not fear hope. Do not fear to dream again. Open your heart once more. Let me place within you a new hope, not one based on fleeting emotions, but anchored firmly in my living word. Have you heard of the woman who suffered from bleeding for 12 years? She had sought every possible remedy, yet none brought healing. Her strength was gone, her resources depleted. No one truly understood her pain. But then she heard of my son, and in her heart, she whispered to herself, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, I will be healed. No one led her. No one reminded her. It was a quiet faith, but fierce. And when she touched his garment, my power flowed immediately. Beloved, miracles do not wait for perfect conditions. They do not require lofty positions or profound knowledge. All they need is a heart willing to reach out in faith. If you still believe that a single word from me is enough, then you already hold the key to unlock the supernatural. You may find yourself in a place where every option has dried up. You may feel like that woman alone, worn out, desperate. But child, just one step toward me, one unpolished cry, is enough to reach the heart of heaven. You don't need to shout for me to hear. You only need to whisper in your heart, Lord, I believe you still perform miracles. And I will answer. Look again at the miracles in Scripture. Not all occurred in temples or before crowds. Some happened along roadsides, in the still of night, in hidden alleys. But what did they all have in common? People met me by faith, not through rituals, not by merit, but through pure and simple belief. And when that faith appears, I never ignore it. I do not change. Yesterday I healed. Today I heal. And tomorrow I will do the same. What I did for others, I will do for you. Yet I do not want you to merely be a recipient of miracles. I want you to become one who carries them to others. What you have gone through, I will use to touch those who cry in silence. Just as you once did, do not let pain harden your heart. Let it become the soil where I plant compassion, mercy, and the fire of heaven. When you are wounded, I do not just want to heal you. I want to make that wound a gateway for my glory to be revealed through your life. My dear one, I am about to do something no one expected. Doors once shut will open by my hand, no human intervention needed. Relationships thought to be over will be revived in truth and love. Opportunities you thought were lost will return in new form, richer, deeper, more enduring, and you will no longer stand as one merely hoping for a miracle. You will be the living testimony of the power of God. When others ask, how did you make it through? You won't answer with logic. You'll simply say, because the Lord came. And when they look at you, they will be uplifted. They will realize that if I did it for you, I can do it for them too. That is how I pass the miracle heart to heart. Through testimony, through life, through the restored light in your eyes and the sound of joy in your voice. Child, remember this: the greatest miracle is not the outward result, but the inward transformation. When your heart shifts from doubt to trust, from fear to peace, from closed off to open, that is the first miracle, and the foundation on which all others will be built. So stand firm. Do not let the voices of doubt drown out the call from heaven. Do not let delay convince you that I've withdrawn my promise. No, dear one, every word I have spoken still holds life, and what I have prepared for you is nearer than ever before. All I ask is that you keep believing, keep moving forward, keep expecting not with weary eyes, but with eyes lit by hope. Do not let time erode your trust. Do not let the waiting years dim your faith in me. I am not a man that I should forget a promise. I am not a planner who changes course midway. What I have spoken, I will fulfill. And now that the season has come, I will act powerfully in your life, not through distant dreams, but through living, breathing reality. You may have believed that certain things were impossible for you, too far, too high, too many letdowns. But, beloved, I do not perform miracles only for others. My glory is not reserved for famous servants or stories from long ago. I want it to be made known through your life in a way that is personal, close, undeniable, so that all will see. It was my hand that touched your life. Do not think that the miracle is simply in your deliverance. That is only the beginning. The true miracle is that through your rescue, an entire stream of lives will be transformed. What I am about to do for you will not stop with you. It will ripple out to your family, your friends, your co-workers, even those who doubted you would ever change. And they will say, surely, a living God has intervened. I do not desire to do something ordinary in your life, because you are not ordinary. You were crafted uniquely, anointed specifically, chosen among many to carry a portion of heaven's design. That is why you have endured many trials. What seemed like obstacles were actually my way of strengthening your faith, deepening your roots, and softening your heart. You may say, but Lord, I've failed too many times. I say to you, no one is too far gone when placed in the hands of the one who made everything out of nothing. Your failures do not dishearten me. They do not change my mind. They only cause my grace to pour more abundantly to restore, to heal, and to rebuild with greater strength. You may say, but I have nothing left. I reply, that is perfect, because when you feel you have nothing, I can begin with what remains, no matter how small, and multiply it. Like 5 loaves and 2 fish feeding thousands. Like a little jar of oil that never ran dry. Like a handful of dust from which I formed mankind. Just a little placed in my hands can become what no one could imagine. You may say, but I'm not worthy. And I say, you were not chosen because of worthiness. You were chosen because I love you, because I see value in you, because I saw not only who you are now, but the fullness of who I created you to become before the foundation of the world. I call you not based on who you've been, but on who I know you will become when you surrender fully to me. So do not shrink back. Do not live as if you are on the edges of grace. I did not create you to observe miracles from afar. I created you to carry them within your own life, and to share them vividly, powerfully, compassionately with a world that is starving for hope. Prepare yourself. I am about to open a door no one can shut, an opportunity no one can hinder, a divine shift that no force can delay. You are stepping into a season not just of receiving, but of bearing fruit. And everything I have planted in you, the promises, the visions, the buried dreams will rise again in the resurrection power of my Spirit. You will know that I am the God who never breaks a promise, not a relic of ancient pages, but a living, speaking, moving presence in your life. Here and now, you will not need to shout to be believed. They will see it in your eyes. They will feel it in your words. They will witness it in your restored voice, not one of fear, but of tested faith, and of power that comes from surrender. My beloved child, you are now standing at the threshold of an entirely new season, not by chance, but by the clear orchestration of my hand. You have walked through battles, through sleepless nights, through moments when it felt like you couldn't go on. Yet still you rose unseen by others, but never unnoticed by me. I am the one who never closes my eyes to tears, and I have recorded every moment. Not a single tear has been shed in vain. Not a single prayer has been uttered and forgotten. Child, look closely at the journey you've taken. Were there not moments when you thought you had lost your way, only to later realize that I had been quietly guiding your steps? Were there not times when you cried out in the silence, believing no one heard, yet still received answers though they came in forms you didn't expect? That is because I do not operate within human patterns. I am never late, nor do I rush. I arrive precisely on time. And when I do, all things begin to move in harmony. I have seen you standing before doors that remain tightly shut. You knocked her. You waited patiently. You hoped, yet nothing seemed to change. And you asked yourself, has God forgotten me? Were his promises meant only for others? But child, hear me now. Those doors did not close because I ignored you, but because I was preparing a greater door, one not only of deliverance but of purpose. Do not rush into things that do not belong to the time I have appointed. A door opened out of season can lead to weariness instead of blessing. Know this, the trials you've endured were not in vain. They have been my classroom, the place where I've forged your faith and shaped your heart so that when your season comes, you will not only receive the blessing, but also know how to steward it for the glory of my name. I know your heart has often longed for a way out. Sometimes, you didn't even need something great, you just needed a sign, a word, a confirmation that I was still listening. And today, I say it plainly, yes, I am listening, and more than that, I am moving. Child, do not fear when you find yourself in a place with no visible way forward, for I am the one who makes a way where there is no path. Do not panic when chaos surrounds you, for it is in the midst of disorder that I can bring order, causing all things to work together for your good. If you feel you've reached the end of the road, let me remind you, what you call the end may be where I begin. What looks like failure to you is fertile ground for a new seed. What feels like rejection is, in truth, my protection. I do not close doors to punish you, but to preserve you from what is not yet ready. Like David, the forgotten shepherd boy left behind among his brothers when the prophet Samuel came, he expected the eldest to be chosen. But I said, Man looks at the outward appearance, but I look at the heart, and it was David, the youngest, who was anointed king. So, child, do not measure yourself by the eyes of others. I see you in ways no one else does. I know the gifts, the calling, and the holy fire I have placed within you, and when the time comes, I will call your name in the midst of the crowd, and no one will be able to take your place. So be steadfast. You are not forgotten. You have not been left behind. You are not lost as long as your hand remains in mine. Do not let delay blur your vision, for I am working silently, yet tirelessly, and it is often in the moments that seem stillest when I am laying the deepest foundations for something that will never be shaken. My beloved child, do you remember the prophet Elijah after his great victory on Mount Carmel? He fled in fear, weary and despondent. I did not come to him through the storm, the earthquake, or the fire, but in a gentle whisper. It was in that small, quiet moment that he knew I was there. So I remind you, do not judge a miracle by its magnitude. Sometimes what seems ordinary is the very supernatural work I am doing. A chance meeting, an idea during your quiet time, a shift in a loved one's heart when seen with eyes of faith. These reveal my wise and intentional hand at work. Sometimes, the miracle does not come to change your situation instantly, but to transform you. I know this is not always easy to hear, but understand this: inward transformation always surpasses outward change. A heart that obeys in adversity is more precious than immediate victory. Do you remember Paul? He asked me 3 times to remove the thorn in his flesh. But instead of taking it away, I answered, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." I did not remove the source of his pain, but I gave him a greater miracle, the strength to rise above it, to rise beyond his circumstances, and to fulfill the mission I gave him. My child, I know there are times when it feels like the burden you carry is too great. You've tried to be strong. You've been patient. You've hoped. But now, you are exhausted and tempted to let go. In that moment, I do not come to rebuke you, I come to remind you. It is in your weakest hour that my greatest strength is revealed. Do not be ashamed of your fatigue. Do not fear because you've had doubts. Your weakness does not drive me away. On the contrary, I draw closer than ever. For I love you not because you are strong, but because you are mine. You once thought that miracles existed to make life easier. But true miracles are not just about solving problems, they are about revealing my glory. Every time I move, it is not merely a blessing, but an invitation to know me more deeply and to walk in closer union with me. Child, the miracle I am preparing for you is not merely outward change. I want to heal what is hidden inside the wounds you've buried, the memories you fear to face, the voices of discouragement that have haunted you for years. The miracle I will perform is one of total restoration of mind, of heart, and of spirit. And remember this: nothing is too small for my attention. No pain is insignificant in my eyes. If it breaks your heart, it moves mine. I am not a distant God. I am a near Father, always listening, always waiting, always working on your behalf. And when you look back, you will see my footprints beside yours, especially in the loneliest stretches of the journey. Therefore, do not confine your expectations of the miraculous to your own definitions. Open your heart, so I may do exceedingly more than all you have ever asked or imagined. Be ready for the unexpected, for my miracles always surpass expectation. I am the good one. I am the faithful one, and I never fail. When I speak, I fulfill, and when I come, my miracle does not merely change your situation, it transforms you. And through you, the world around you. Trust in me, for I am coming, not with the sound of trumpets, but with a gentle whisper, not only to move mountains, but to heal your heart, my child. When the time I have appointed draws near, every door that once seemed shut will be opened. The series of events you considered mere coincidences are, in fact, intricately arranged by my own hand. I do not require human approval, nor am I bound by time or circumstance. When I choose to act, no power in heaven or earth can thwart my will. Perhaps you've waited so long that you've begun to believe the miracle would never come. But hear me. Child, delay is not denial. There are moments when I am preparing a higher place for you. If I allow you to enter the miracle too soon, your heart may not yet be matured enough to carry it with humility and gratitude. Remember this: when your faith has been refined, my timing will come, and with it, everything will begin to change. You often ask me, when will it happen? But the deeper question you must ask yourself is, am I ready for it? For there are miracles that require a firmer faith, a renewed mind, and a heart more open than before. I do not merely give blessings, I desire for you to sustain them through maturity and obedience. Sometimes what you need is not a grand miracle, but a small, daily steadfastness, a simple act of obedience, a single step of faith when everything around you is still unclear. It is often these seemingly insignificant things that lay the solid foundation for the greater miracles to come. Remember, during the rebuilding of the Second Temple, when the foundation was barely laid, the people lost heart. But through the prophet Zechariah, I declared, "Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for in those quiet beginnings, I sowed the seeds of a glorious work yet to come." My child, when my time arrives, change will come faster than you expect. Today you may still feel trapped in the cave like Lazarus, bound by disappointment and darkness, but with just one word from me, the grave clothes will fall away, and you will walk out of your tomb of the past into a new destiny. You do not need to understand everything to believe, for faith does not come from comprehending the whole plan, but from trusting the one who authored it. Let your soul find rest in the assurance that I am never late. I am the Alpha and the Omega. Every work I begin, I complete, and what I have started in your heart, a dream, a promise, a calling, I will bring it to fulfillment in its appointed time. My beloved child, when you find yourself in a dry and barren place, do not be afraid, for I am the one who makes streams flow in the desert. When doors close before you, do not be discouraged, for I can open doors that no man can shut. When people turn away, do not despair, for I will never leave you. I am preparing a breakthrough not just to solve a problem, but to affirm that I am the living God. What I do will cause those around you to exclaim, "Surely, God is among us." Know this, every miracle I perform in your life is not only to deliver, heal, or bliss, but above all, to reveal my glory and exalt my name among the nations. I do nothing without eternal purpose. Every time I act, it is to anchor your heart to root your faith even deeper. Do you remember the words of my son before Lazarus's tomb? He said, "This sickness will not end in death, but is for the glory of God." And indeed, when Lazarus emerged alive, the crowd could not deny the power that came from me. They were astonished. They believed, and my name was lifted high. Likewise, each time I move from now on, it will cause you to become a living witness not merely by words, but through real transformation and miracles manifest in your life. What pleases me is not just that you are rescued, but that you use that very deliverance to testify to my goodness. When I heal you, I desire for you to become a vessel of healing to others. When I provide for you, I want you to use that abundance to support those in need. When I lift you out of the depths, I long for you to become the arm that pulls others from the darkness. This is why I chose you, not because you are good enough, strong enough, or talented enough, but because I saw a willing heart, a humble spirit, one who knows that all things come from me. I can use you as a light not to shine for your own glory, but to illuminate the path for the lost. Remember the Good Samaritan. He didn't just feel compassion for the wounded man on the road. He stopped. He cared. He carried him to safety. You, too, when you experience my grace, do not let it end with you. Let it flow through you like a stream that refreshes the dry and weary souls around you. Do not think that evangelism belongs only to those who preach from pulpits or hold Bibles in public squares. Every loving act, every timely word of comfort, every sincere embrace, every shared tear, these can become doors through which others come to know me. I am seeking those who not only hear my word, but live it. Those who not only receive miracles, but carry them into the world. Those who respond, "Here I am." When I call, are you willing? Will you be the one who bears the light? Will you use what I've done for you to testify that I am faithful, trustworthy, and still at work today? Do not think you must be perfect to do this. Moses stammered, yet I used him to lead my people. Jeremiah felt too young, but I placed my words in his mouth. David was just a shepherd boy, but I made him king. Paul once persecuted believers, yet became the author of much of the New Testament. I am not seeking perfection, I am seeking willingness. And you, my beloved child, are the one I am calling. Remember this, every miracle has a purpose, not just to rescue you from suffering, but to draw your soul closer to me, that your heart may beat in rhythm with mine, and from you, light will spread to the darkest corners. Live as one transformed. Let my light shine through you, not so that others see your greatness, but so that they may see the greatness of the one who lives within you. For in the end, the greatest glory is not in the miracle you receive, but in becoming a part of my greater miracle, a miracle that brings life, restoration, and redemption to all humanity. My dearly beloved child, when I place my hand upon your life, it is not merely to heal a wound or meet a fleeting need. I am calling you into deep communion with me, where doubt and fear no longer stand between us, where only perfect love remains between father and child. From this fellowship, I will reveal to you hidden things, mysteries of my kingdom that only those who seek me with all their heart can understand. Child, I do not want you to stop at experiencing miracles. A miracle is only the gateway to a far greater journey, one of walking with me. You may behold my glory in great and mighty acts, but you will know me most deeply in the stillness. When you pause and listen for my whisper, remember the prophet Elijah. He did not encounter me in the earthquake, nor in the wind or fire, but in the gentle whisper, and in that moment, he knew my presence more intimately than ever before. I desire to meet you in the same way, not only in the outward shaking, but in the quiet of your soul. There are miracles that make no noise, that draw no crowd, yet they are the deepest of all miracles of inner change, of transformed thinking, of a heart once hardened, now learning to love and forgive. I value the miracles seen by the eye, but I cherish more the ones that happen within. Let me uproot the bitterness the world has planted in your heart. Let me soothe the wounds that have long been scabbed over, to the point where you believed they were part of who you are. I want to heal at the root, not merely dry your tears, but restore the reasons you once wept. For I know that if you are not healed from within, you will live in cycles of old pain. But if you allow me to heal you completely, you will walk free, not ruled by memory, not bound by fear, not led by darkness. Today, I call you to live with purpose. Each day is a chance for me to work through you. Do not waste time chasing fleeting feelings or temporary things. I did not place you in this world by accident. You are where you are, among the people you see each day, for a reason. I have laid out the paths you will walk, and the souls you will touch. All I need is for you to say, "Yes, Lord," and I will use you in ways beyond your imagining. I will take you to places you never dared dream of. I will open doors that seem sealed shut. I will put words in your mouth to lift up, heal, and draw others near to me. This world is drowning in chaos and darkness. Many souls are weary. Many hearts are broken. Many have lost their way. And in the midst of it all, I am searching not just for those who cry out for miracles, but for those who cry out to become miracles for others. I am looking for those like Isaiah, who heard my voice say, "Whom shall I send?" and answered, "Here I am. Lord, send me." My child, are you willing to answer that call? Are you ready to say, "Father, I have seen your work in me now, work through me"? If so, I will begin a new chapter in your life. A chapter not just of miracles in your life, but of miracles through your life for the world. And I, the faithful God, will walk with you through every line until you fulfill the mission I have written for you. My child, now that this journey is nearing its end, I do not come to say farewell. On the contrary, I come to remind you what you have just heard, what you have just felt. This is only the beginning. The miracles you have witnessed or will witness are not the destination. They are signs that you are on the right path, moving deeper into communion with me. For I do not only want you to receive miracles, I want to be the greatest miracle in your life. My beloved, many things in this life will pass. Physical healing will one day cease. Success will eventually fade. Even the most extraordinary wonders will become memories. But the relationship between you and me, if you hold on to it, will last for all eternity. And that is the most precious gift of all. I do not promise a life free of pain, but I promise that you will never face pain alone again. I will be there in the darkness, in the morning mist, in every breath, every decision, every worry, and every glimmer of hope. I will be there, never leaving your side. Remember this: what you possess can be lost, what you understand can change, what you dream of may be delayed. But one thing will never change: my love for you. A love not based on your achievements, not swayed by your emotions, not withdrawn when you fail. It is a foundation that never shakes, a home you can return to when you are weary, arms always open when you've lost your way, a strong refuge when the storms roll in. Now, my child, in this very moment, remember, your life is not just a personal journey. It is a symphony woven from heavenly melodies. Every step you take, every rise and fall you experience, has its place in the grand composition I am writing for this world. You are an irreplaceable part of my plan. Never believe you are random, meaningless, or forgotten. No, you are my chosen one. You are the beloved whom I called by name before the foundation of the world. You are the one I formed, cell by cell in your mother's womb. You are my joy, my creation, made to carry my image. And because of this, I will never abandon you. Even if the world turns its back on you, I will turn my face toward you. Even if every door closes, I will carve a new path. Even if you fall into the deepest abyss, I can lift you out with a single word. For I am God, but I am also your Father. I am King, but I am also your friend. I am the Creator, but I am also the one who loves you more than anything else in this universe. My child, as you close this chapter of your journey, I invite you to begin a new one, a journey of living as one who has been touched by heaven, a life marked by miracles, not to chase after wonders, but to become a witness of them in the ordinary. You will not walk alone. You will not lack direction, for I will still speak. I will still lead. I will still pour out grace. I will take you to places beyond your dreams. I will give you wisdom beyond your years. I will place steady words in your mouth so others may be built up. I will use your pain to bring healing to others. I will turn the seasons of rejection into seasons of honor. Never forget, I am the first miracle, and I am the last miracle you will ever need. If you have me, you have everything. If you have me, you need not fear tomorrow. If you have me, nothing can separate you from my love. Believe this until the day you see me again in full glory. I will not leave your side. With every morning you wake, every sleepless night, every moment in the midst of great or small decisions, I will be there. You need only whisper, "Father, I'm here," and I will reply, "I am here too, my beloved child." Thank you for listening to today's message. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we can continue to receive the living word together. Build unshakable faith and walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.